Welcome to the Methodcast, where we break down the myths that keep people stuck in habits they never really chose. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest lies addiction tells you, the so-called advantages of porn. If you've ever tried to quit, you've probably had this thought at least once. But what if I'm giving up something good? It's a fear that creeps in, making you second-guess your decision. And that's exactly how addiction works. It convinces you that porn is providing you with something valuable, something you need, something that's making your life better. But what if none of that was true? What if every so-called advantage of porn was actually just a carefully crafted illusion? That's what Easy Peasy reveals. It doesn't just help you quit, it removes the desire by proving that porn was never actually benefiting you in the first place. And today, we're going to break down the biggest lies people believe about porn and why they fall apart under closer inspection. Let's start with the most common one. Porn helps me relieve stress. This is probably the number one excuse people use to justify watching. They say, I've had a long day. I just need to unwind. Watching porn helps me relax. But does it really? Think about the moments after you're done watching. Do you actually feel relaxed? Do you feel at peace? Or do you feel the opposite, drained, guilty, maybe even frustrated with yourself? And here's the real trick. Porn doesn't relieve stress. It creates it. Because every time you watch, you're reinforcing a cycle. You feel stressed, so you watch porn. But then you feel worse, so you do it again. And over time, your brain starts associating stress with porn use. It wires itself to crave stimulation every time life gets difficult. And instead of learning real stress relief, exercise, deep breathing, talking to someone, you become dependent on an artificial escape. That's not relief. That's a trap. Now let's talk about another one. Porn is just entertainment. This one is sneaky because it sounds so casual. People say, I don't take it seriously, it's just something fun to watch. But let's be honest, does it really stay just entertainment? Think about how addiction works. It never starts as something serious, it starts as just once in a while. But then before you know it, it's a habit. It's something you think about when you're bored. Something that pulls you in even when you don't actually feel like watching. And here's where the entertainment lie falls apart. Real entertainment adds something to your life. Watching a great movie, reading a book, playing music, these are things that leave you feeling good afterward. They give you memories, new ideas, a sense of enjoyment. Porn? It does the opposite. It takes away your time, your energy, your motivation. It doesn't leave you with anything valuable. It just leaves you feeling like you wasted another hour doing something you swore you wouldn't do. And that's not entertainment. That's dependence. Now let's move on to a big one. Porn is better than real sex. This is one of the biggest tricks the addiction plays on you. It makes you believe that real relationships, real intimacy, are too much effort, that they're not as exciting, that they're messy, that they take too long. And here's where the damage happens. The more you watch porn, the less interested you become in real connection. Why? Because porn is too easy. It's instant. It doesn't require anything from you. No effort, no vulnerability, no interaction. But because it's so easy, it rewires your brain. It makes real human connection feel less rewarding. It makes actual relationships feel dull in comparison. And over time, it isolates you. It creates a mental distance between you and real intimacy. And the scariest part? You don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. And that's why quitting isn't about sacrificing something. It's about getting back what porn stole from you. Now let's talk about another excuse people use. Porn is healthy. It's natural. This is a big one because it comes from everywhere. The media, sex education, even some psychologists. They say it's normal, that everyone does it, that it's part of life. But let's step back for a second. If something is healthy, shouldn't it make you feel better? Shouldn't it improve your life? Because let's be honest, does watching porn actually improve anything? Does it make your relationships better? Your confidence? Your mental clarity? Your energy levels? Or does it just leave you feeling more drained, more isolated, more distracted? Real health doesn't work that way. When something is actually good for you, like eating well, exercising, getting good sleep, you feel the benefits immediately. But porn? It gives you a short-term high and then takes more than it gives. That's not health. That's addiction disguised as normalcy. Now let's move to another big one. I can control it. This is the lie people tell themselves when they don't want to quit completely. They say, I'm not addicted, I just watch sometimes. I can stop whenever I want. But here's the question. If you can stop anytime, why haven't you? Because here's the truth. People who are actually free from addiction don't need to justify their behavior. They don't have to convince themselves that they're in control. They don't have to negotiate how much is okay. They just don't think about it at all. And if you find yourself constantly going back, telling yourself, just this once, making excuses to watch again, that's not control. That's being controlled. And that's exactly what Easy Peasy exposes. It shows you that the problem isn't how much you watch. It's the fact that you still want to watch it all. And once you see through the illusion of pleasure, once you understand that porn was never actually giving you anything, the desire disappears completely. No fighting, no willpower, just real freedom. So if you've been stuck believing any of these myths, ask yourself, what am I actually gaining from this? Not what society tells me, not what my addiction tells me, but what do I actually get? Because if the answer is nothing, then there's no reason to keep holding on. And once you let go, that's when you finally experience real freedom. That's it for today's episode of the Methodcast. If this resonated with you, don't just think about it, act on it. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, send it their way. Because sometimes the only thing standing between someone and freedom is a shift in perspective. If you're on this journey, know that you're not alone. And if this episode has resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Together, we're breaking free from the lies of addiction and stepping into something so much better. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, celebrate your progress, stay curious, and remember, you've got this.